Welcome back, everybody. All right, so let's take a look and let's prototype another table. So I'm going to go ahead and start up a new file, and we saved the last file, so it should be all good here. And I'm going to tab into edit mode and select faces, of course. And I'm actually going to go and I'm going to move it down here just like this. And we're going to pretty much do the exact same thing, except there's another way of doing it here. So what we can do is we can push E to extrude and just simply right click right after that. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push scale. Okay, you can see here that the scale is the scale works out quite well, right? And we can actually go and extrude that here, and we have some kind of cool little island like that, like a kitchen island that is. Okay, so we now have this here. Let's go ahead and let's do the loop cut and slice here. Now, one of the things that I like to do a lot is one thing I like to do a lot is definitely use the same tools that I know how to use. So I know how to use this loop cut here, and it's pretty easy to use. So you should try and use that tool to the max. Lots of times when you're trying to learn something new, you want to learn a whole bunch of new tools. But it's actually a lot better in some cases to learn just a whole bunch of or just a little bit of tools and use them really effectively and find creative new ways. Now from here, we can do actually two things. We can actually extrude this here, right? And that is a different kind of table. Okay, and again, this is where we can actually have a bit of fun here. So first things first, I'm actually going to save this here. I'm going to save this as, and I'm going to go, instead of P1, I'm going to call this P2. Okay, just like that. Save as Blender file, and you're going to see what I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to make two tables out of this design here. So I'm going to push E to extrude, and there we have our simple legs. And then I'm going to select all of these here, and I'm going to push extrude. So there we go. And again, I'm not going to rotate it up right now, but here we go. We have a simple table here. Now if we hop back here, we can actually take these like this, and I'm also pushing shift, by the way, and you can actually change these to a different size here. And if we really want to, we can select all of these in here like this, just taking a couple more seconds to select it all. And then we can just go and we can add in a different height to this, which is actually really kind of cool, right? And so if we look at this here, it looks a little bit different. I think it looks kind of cool if you wanted to have a different height, but I'm going to undo that here. Another thing you can do is you can see how this looks, having the table look something like that. And I think that looks kind of cool. So let's go ahead and let's add this in here. Okay. First things first here, I'm going to save it. So I'm just going to simply save. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in this right here. Okay. And there we go. Now you can see that now that we have two tables, and maybe I'll just actually move that here. And by the way, I pushed E to extrude there. So here you can see, and if we really wanted to, actually, I think we can just put scale, and we can move it in just a bit. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so here you can see we have two different tables. Now let's go ahead and let's push save as. Instead of saving it as P2, we're going to save it as P3. Now this technique here that I'm showing you is really important when it comes to getting better at anything computer related and pretty much anything creative related, whether it's, you're trying to learn a musical instrument, trying to learn Blender, or even trying to learn to code. Is you see how I produced two simple objects from one simple file. Now, good people can produce 10, and this is something called divergent thinking. And if you've taken my courses at mammothinteractive.com, you'll notice that that I really tend to plug this quite a bit. There is one thing that is a little that we haven't done here. Is I'm going to rotate, press Z to lock on the Z-axis, and then type in 180. All right, and actually we have to lock this on a different axis. Rotate along the Y-axis, and then 180. Okay, and actually rotate the x-axis 180. All right, and for the most part, you can see that we have a new table there. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.